In just 1 week, 4 major developments across Europe, Canada, and the Indo-Pacific quietly revealed a geopolitical shift that many analysts didn't expect to unfold this quickly. At first glance, these stories seem unrelated. But when connected, they reveal a much bigger trend, one that could reshape global energy markets, defense procurement, and strategic partnerships for years to come. Your roadmap to the latest in auto? Welcome to Highway Herald. Today, we're connecting the dots behind 4 major developments that show why diversification, not confrontation, is becoming the defining strategy of allied nations. And by the end of this countdown, you'll see why Canada may be positioned to become one of the biggest long-term beneficiaries of this global transformation. Number 4. Europe's energy diversification gives Canada new momentum. One of the biggest misconceptions in recent headlines is that Europe is turning away from American LNG. In reality, the United States remains a vital energy partner, as demonstrated by Germany's NBW expanding its LNG agreement with Venture Global in June. Rather than replacing one supplier with another, Europe is pursuing a broader strategy centered on diversification. After experiencing the risks of heavy dependence on Russian natural gas, European governments are working to build a more resilient energy system by combining American LNG, renewable energy, domestic production, energy efficiency, and partnerships with other reliable democratic nations. That strategy is creating new opportunities for Canada. Although the C-Lysims LNG project has not yet begun operations, German companies have already secured future LNG supplies from the facility, signaling growing confidence in Canada's long-term role as a global energy exporter. Canada's abundant natural gas reserves, stable political environment, and Pacific Coast access make it an increasingly attractive supplier. For European buyers, dependable supply chains and political stability have become just as important as competitive prices. Ultimately, Europe's energy strategy reflects a broader geopolitical shift toward greater flexibility and resilience. By expanding its network of trusted partners instead of relying heavily on any single supplier, Europe is creating new opportunities for countries like Canada to play a larger role in global energy security. But diversification isn't transforming Europe's energy strategy alone. The same mindset is now reshaping how the continent equips its armed forces, and one country has emerged as one of the biggest beneficiaries. Number 3. South Korea's defense industry becomes Europe's new contender. The same push for diversification transforming Europe's energy landscape is now reshaping its defense market as well. Over the past several years, South Korea has rapidly emerged from a respected regional supplier into one of Europe's fastest-growing defense partners, and the pace of that transformation has surprised many analysts. European militaries are under increasing pressure to modernize equipment, rebuild inventories, and strengthen deterrence capabilities. In today's security environment, rapid delivery can be just as valuable as advanced performance or competitive pricing. That is where South Korean manufacturers have gained significant momentum. Companies including Hanwha Aerospace, Hyundai Rotem, and Korea Aerospace Industries have secured major contracts across the continent. Poland remains the most visible example, investing billions in K-2 Black Panther tanks, K-9 self-propelled howitzers, Chunmoo rocket systems, and Fa-50 light combat aircraft. Similar procurement decisions are now appearing in countries such as Norway, Romania, Estonia, and Finland. What makes these partnerships especially attractive is that they often extend far beyond the equipment itself. South Korean firms frequently include local manufacturing opportunities, technology transfers, workforce training, industrial cooperation, and flexible financing packages. Those incentives allow European nations to strengthen their own defense industries while accelerating military modernization at the same time. South Korea's rise shows that diversification isn't limited to defense procurement. A similar transformation is also unfolding in the energy sector, where Canada is quietly gaining far greater leverage than many expected. Number 2. Trans Mountain gives Canada greater global energy influence. While LNG has captured much of the attention, Canada's oil sector has reached a major milestone. In June 2026, the Trans Mountain expansion pipeline reached full capacity for the first time, with demand exceeding available space and forcing apportionment among shippers. The milestone reflects growing international demand for Canadian crude. For decades, limited export infrastructure left Canadian producers heavily dependent on the U.S. market, often resulting in discounted prices. With capacity approaching 890,000 barrels per day, the expanded pipeline now gives producers greater access to Pacific export markets, allowing more Canadian oil to reach buyers across Asia and other global destinations. Improved market access has already helped narrow historic price discounts while strengthening Canada's role in global energy markets. Beyond the economic benefits, expanded export capacity provides greater strategic flexibility by reducing reliance on any single customer. The pipeline's success highlights Canada's transformation from primarily supplying the United States to becoming a more influential global energy exporter. Before we reveal the biggest development, we'd really appreciate your support. If you're enjoying this analysis, subscribe to Highway Herald and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue bringing you in-depth coverage of the latest developments in the automotive, energy, and defense industries. Now let's move to the story that could have the biggest long-term strategic impact. Number 1. Canada's defense strategy enters a new era. The week's biggest development came on June 22nd, when Canada and Australia announced a landmark $1.75 billion U.S. defense agreement. Canada will acquire Australia's over-the-horizon radar technology, capable of detecting aircraft, ships, and missile activity at distances approaching 3,000 kilometers, significantly strengthening Arctic surveillance. The agreement is part of a broader diversification strategy. Just days earlier, Canada officially joined the European Union's €150 billion Safe Defence Procurement Initiative as its first non-European participant, opening new opportunities for Canadian defence companies. Canada has also selected Saab's Global Eye airborne early warning aircraft over Boeing's E-7 and continues evaluating submarine proposals from European and Indo-Pacific shipbuilders. Together, these decisions mark one of the most significant shifts in Canadian defense policy in decades. While remaining a close U.S. ally, Ottawa is expanding partnerships with Europe, Australia, South Korea, and other Indo-Pacific nations to strengthen resilience, technology cooperation, and long-term strategic flexibility. Taken together, these four developments all point toward the same conclusion, and it's a trend that is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Verdict: diversification is reshaping the global landscape. The key takeaway is not that the United States is being replaced. America remains a leading energy producer, the world's largest defense exporter, and a major geopolitical power. Instead, allied nations are reducing risk by expanding their partnerships. Europe continues buying American LNG while adding new suppliers. South Korea is rapidly growing its presence in Europe's defense market, and Canada's expanded pipeline is opening new export opportunities while Ottawa strengthens defense ties with Europe, Australia, and other allies. The defining trend is diversification, as countries seek greater flexibility, stronger supply chains, and improved resilience in an uncertain world. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Do you think Canada's growing role in global energy markets will permanently change North America's energy balance? Can South Korea continue expanding its influence in Europe's defense industry? Or will traditional suppliers regain momentum? Which of these four developments do you believe will have the biggest long-term impact on global alliances and strategic partnerships? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We always enjoy reading your perspectives and continuing the conversation with fellow enthusiasts. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Highway Herald and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates on vehicles, energy, defense, and the global transportation industry. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on your screen. There's plenty more insightful and exciting content waiting for you.